In this tutorial, we will go over how to use the H2O AutoML node. In the past, we have covered how to use AutoML experiments, but this node gives us most of the functionality while being able to integrate AutoML into our workflows directly. The goal of AutoML is to get the best performing models in the least amount of steps. To start with, we have a simple workflow where we load in the dataset and do a little bit of data cleaning. It is important to still do a little bit of data cleaning before feeding your data into an AutoML node. Now we can configure our AutoML node. The first thing we need to select is our label column. This is what will be predicted. Next, we select our feature columns. In this case, it is also important to remember not to select your label column in the features column as well. Next, we are given the option to transform some of our features from categorical to numeric. If you already have categorical variables in your data, this can be an important step, and this can be done directly in the AutoML node without using an additional string indexer or other nodes. Next, we must select our path. Since AutoML will be generating multiple models, it will be saved to your HDFS or another selected file system instead of being passed on within the workflow itself. Next, we select our seed. This will ensure that we have good reproducibility when running the AutoML node multiple times. Now there are a bunch of options within AutoML, in both general and advanced. For now, I'll just go over some of the simplest and most important. One of the most important is the max models. This is the number of final models that AutoML will intend to generate or to train on. This is important because adding too many models or having too few models may result in poor performance of either the machine or your models itself. Next, we have the included algorithms. By default, all algorithms are selected here, but we can also exclude algorithms by moving them from here in the include algos to the exclude algos options below. This will ensure that we don't have models that are either too complicated or are of types that we do not want. In this case, I don't want deep learning or stacked ensemble, as they are harder to find out afterward. The next most important option is the max runtime in seconds. This will ensure that there is a good cap on your workflow running and that you do not leave the machine running for too long. If we move over to the advanced tabs, we are given other options related to specific types of modeling, such as the Tweety power or the quantile alpha or the Hubert alpha. If we want, here we can also add additional more advanced features such as weighting the columns. Now we are ready to execute this workflow. Here in the execution page, we can see that after our data cleaning was completed, we run the AutoML node. After the AutoML node creates each model, it will print out this message here that will show us where each model has been saved to. This can be important so that we can take it into the next step or take it into multiple other workflows so that we can test out these models. In previous videos, we have shown how to load Sparkml models from a file system. In this case, since these are H2O models, we need to modify our workflow slightly. This is the workflow which we will be using to load in our AutoML nodes. First, we have our original data and our original data cleaning steps, similar to how we had them in the AutoML workflow, and then we load in our AutoML model here. It is important that our paths exactly match what we copied and pasted earlier from the AutoML execution page. Additionally, if we browse the file system, we can see within each model the metadata, Mojo model, and cross-validation. Or if we go to the folder entirely, we can see each of the three models separately. These were the three models generated by the AutoML node. It is important here to also use the H2O model load instead of the Spark model load, since we are using H2O models. Instead of using Spark Predict, we must use H2O score here in order to predict. Next, we can print out our results as usual, and we use the same regression evaluator as we had before, where we select our label column and our prediction column. Now we can run this workflow to test the performance of one of our models. This is one of the downsides with AutoML nodes instead of the AutoML experiments. In order to test each model, we must load them separately into various workflows. Versus with AutoML experiments, we have the ability to evaluate multiple models at the same time. However, using AutoML nodes can both be easier and can allow us to add additional data cleaning and data validation steps without moving outside of a single workflow. Thank you for listening.